Well. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but my goodness, my goddess, Queen Selene, she might be dying, guys. She might be dying. I don't want to see this happen. It's a sad day for Selene fans. But sadly, I knew this was coming. I think I predicted this in my last manga chapter review for Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. I said typically how these shonen slash Japanese manga tropes go is when you introduce the new big bad of the week or of the series going forward, the number one thing they do is, well, guess what? They freaking are the person that gets the most hype, the most building up, and usually if the villain from the past arc is still hanging around, well then more than likely the past villain is going to end up getting defeated because, well, guess what? That's how things operate. It's like how in Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power, when Hit and Jiren went on, Hit at that point in time was one of Goku's toughest opponents, but Jiren was the up and comer, new toughest, strong, antagonist or, person Goku had to fight. What happened? Jiren obviously beat him because you want to display your dominance over the fact that Hit was somebody pretty hard for Goku to beat, but Jiren kind of pretty much handled him in a in pretty much a very fashionable way. I knew at the end of the chapter when the last chapter when Selene and Ingina were fighting, I knew like, no, this is not gonna go Selene's way. Ignia is probably gonna come out of this fight winning, potentially badly injuring Selene, or even killing Selene, to make his point, to show how much stronger he is compared to Selene, and how much stronger our heroes is the threat that our heroes are facing in Ignia. So pretty much my reaction to the entire chapter when I first read it, I was definitely not shocked by the ending. Now I was shocked that the dude blew a hole through her chest. That's the part that got me. But I was not shocked at the fact that, oh no, I didn't see this coming, that like Ignia was not going to get pretty much of a W against Selene, because like I said, especially with Japanese manga, they typically go this route, especially with the battle manga too. So anyways, let's talk about this chapter. Again, sorry for not getting this up the day it came out. One, this freaking chapter took such a long time to come out just to get on the internet and everything. I don't know what the hell it was that. And then two, I was working, and then I had it was my final week of my master's classes for my spring semester. I'm still pretty much what I'm doing for my master's program, I'm taking it like pretty much year round, so it's a non-stop gig for me. So school's always going to get in the way of my videos as well as my new job for the next couple of weeks. But anyways, let's get to it. This is Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, chapter 107, titled Duel of the Dragons. Cover page is of Natsu finding this, I guess, mouse that's holding some sort of healing potion, like it's from the freaking Fairy Tail video game, and stuff like that. So yeah, essentially it's kind of a whole thing of, oh, you can't escape Natsu's nose because his nose is like one of the best in anime, period. Anyways, obviously, the last chapter we had it where Selene and Ignia were in their dragon forms. They were about to do battle and stuff like that. So we cut over to Natsu and Suzaku, and Suzaku's like, oh, great. What are we going to do? And Natsu's like, those two are duking it out, right? Well then, we're just going to get involved in this fight. And I'll say this, I'm glad that they didn't have Natsu or Suzaku, indirectly fight in this. Now, Natsu has an indirect moment in this fight in relations to what happens to a past fairy tale, a very iconic fairy tale moment. But regardless of that fact, they don't get involved at all, which I think the entire fairy tale community can appreciate, that they did not get involved in this fight with Selene and Ignia. They let Selene and Ignia duke it out. They didn't find ways to get involved in everything and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, Happy's like, obviously, Suzuka's like, are you freaking serious, bro? And then happy. It's like, oh, it's just Natsu being Natsu. Now, Selene goes on to talk to Igni and say, about between dragon gods, neither of us will walk away unscathed. And I'm just like, oh yeah, pretty much. Sadly, it's probably going to be you, Selene. And obviously, Ignia, as he's firing off a flamethrower, he's like, yeah, sure, want to bet. Selene counters back with, a moon blast of hers, and they're just clashing at this point. It creates a big explosion. It's blowing Suzaku and Happy and Natsu all away. So it goes to show that these dragon gods, when they're fighting in their pet dragon forms, it's still dangerous that no freaking human-like characters can combat these characters on a level like that. We've already seen this whole time and time again with the whole Dragon King Festival in the Grand Magic Games arc, where they were essentially all the characters couldn't freaking do anything. Even our characters couldn't do shit against Agnologia from Tenro, and even at the end of the Alvarez Empire arc, and stuff like that. They didn't really put any damage on dragons, and stuff like that, which I still find interesting how they're going to do that, because that's been the one topic that's kind of been like the hierarchy of the series. Like, okay, yes, we have our strong human characters, but the dragon level characters, they're on a whole nother level where you got to be like a dragon yourself to even be able to damage them, because we're still at this point in the story in terms of, if you look Fairy Tail as a whole, we're in the point of a story where we have not had a character in their base human state be able to damage a dragon. Truly, they've been able to beat them up, but in terms of like legit battle damage, no. And stuff like that, they would just fight their humanoid dragon forms and stuff like that. So that's kind of the thing there. Even then, they're still powerful. So that's kind of the whole thing. Now, Igni is obviously just kind of on the high ground. He's just smiling the entire time because he knows he's got this. And then he fires this freaking crazy attack where he has like all these like different magical attacks and everything, and it just fires down on Selene. I think I remember an anime character that does something like that. I just can't think of it. But it's like one of those like dimensional characters that fires those laser beams that has like make these pocket dimension spaces, and they just fire these laser beams out of these set pocket dimensions. And they're firing down at Selene. Selene's getting hit, and she's getting burnt and everything. Selene flies up, gives a headbutt to Ignia, knocks him down with her tail into the ground. And the thing is, what happens is it's all, he slams down. Now, Natsu, in this meantime, he's remembering the fight between Ignia and Acnologia at the end of the Tartaros arc. And he's remembering essentially how Ignia ended up losing the fight. And he's just like reliving that in a way almost like the same thing's going to happen to Ignia, and stuff like that. So Selene gets back up and she's like, those were the flames, the son of Igneo, the fire dragon king. Don't make me laugh. And essentially she's trying to do the same thing as well. And she uses this attack called Moonlight Palm, and she just essentially, I guess, like the Pokemon move Force Palm, just putting pressure on Ignia. And obviously, we cut over to Suzaku a bit, and he's obviously like, yeah, I would have died if we were still in the other world, if she went into this form, and stuff like that. Ellen tier, because he's mentioned the fact like, oh, she's on a whole different level. She's different, which I'm like, yeah, she is. Anyways, Ignia takes the attack and he goes in to say, don't make me laugh. That's my line. And don't you dare compare me to his levels, because he feels like he's better than Igneo. And he just unleashes his flames. It catches onto Selene, and she starts burning, and she starts screaming in agony because she's burning. Ignia, he's just over here like, I really hope in the anime they give him a very conniving voice. Now, Suzaku's crying out to Selene. Seems like he cares. Okay, interesting there. And essentially, Ignia's like, so there goes the dragon that is cozying up to humans, burning as a pile of ashes. But Selene, grits the freaking burning flames. She flies through it. She tries to actually run away, and obviously, I guess you can say, try to back out or escape. And obviously, Ignia is like, are you trying to run away? But then she freaking just turns around and spins her body I mean, she made some water to cool herself off, and I guess you could say take out the flames. But Ignia goes on to say, "Oh, you went through water. The problem is my flames will still continue to burn." Um, and Selene uses this move called Moonlight Butterflies. It's just a straight beam attack firing right onto Ignia. Ignia gets hit. He's like, but it's your typical type of thing where it's like, you think it does some damage on Ignia, but truly it doesn't. You just see the battle scars and everything. So yeah, Selene goes on to make the mention like your greatest weakness is your arrogance, Ignia, that you think that nobody can defeat you, but I'm gonna be the one to defeat you. And obviously, Ignia recovers, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you say that, it's true, Selene. Now it's my turn." Now Natsu gets involved in this fight from the standpoint he screams out saying, "Stop!" And both the dragons are like, "What are you doing, idiot? Why are you getting involved in this fight?" Even Selene's like, Natsu's kind of pleading on like, "Please stop this fighting. You guys don't need to fight," and everything, and stuff like that. Because Natsu at this time, he's remembering what happened with Ignil and stuff like that. I think at first I was wondering if like he was relating the whole thing to this, but I think he just doesn't want the fact of seeing another dragon die senselessly, just in a battle like this. I think that's the true meaning of why he was trying to interject and stop this, because he didn't want to relive the fact that he lost somebody he cared deeply, and it was two dragons fighting, and he's truly saw like the bloodthirstiness of how much these dragons can go to. And Selene's like, "You want me to stop? I'm your enemy. You do know whoever comes with this battle, the victor, it's one less enemy you have to deal with. So why are you trying to stop me? Why are you trying to stop us?" And stuff like that. And obviously Igni is looking at Nas when he's like, "Oh, did I remind you of when he died?" He doesn't specify Ignil as Ignil. He's like, "He." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, please, Natsu. That's not going to happen to me. I'm your big brother." Well, step brother, but whatever. We also do find out that Ignia knew about what happened to Ignio in the fight against Acnologia back at the end of the Tardos arc. And Ignia goes on to say, "My old man was the strongest dragon, but Acnologia killed him. But I'm different, Natsu. Yes, I'm built different. I would have killed Acnologia if I had the chance to." So yeah. And he goes on to say, "But you see, Natsu, the thing about this is I would have actually beat Acnologia like this." He fires off a freaking fire breath attack or some sort of laser attack. We have it to where the chapter ends off where, as he's firing this attack, Selene gets impaled literally through the chest, all through the chest in her dragon form. And it looks like Selene's gonna fall over and probably kick the bucket as Ignia's laughing and Natsu screaming out as the chapter ends, "Ignia," in frustration, and as a way of being pissed off. And that's where the chapter ends off. So I pretty much, listen, I was shocked about the whole firing a blast breath and it going straight through Selene, but I was not shocked to the fact that Selene is definitely going to be down for the count. She might end up dying. Like, I didn't think she would die, but she might actually end up dying. Which, like I said, is a common trope. Typically, a new villain that comes along to be the main focal point of the story, which it looks like Igni is going to be. They usually, if the past arcs villain sticks around, they usually take them out with utter ease, just to show how strong they truly are. We saw how strong Igni was because he took all of frickin' Selene's attacks and still comes out of this pretty much kind of like in a way where I think he's just like, "Yeah, that stung a bit, but whatever. I just had to knock some dust off." So yeah. And hey, he made a convincing way of like, "Oh, I would have taken Acnologia out like this, just straight up firing a blast, just take him out right then and there." Makes sense. But who knows? But anyways, that was kind of this chapter. I enjoyed the chapter. I like the battle between Igni and Selene, and I'm definitely gonna be interested to see, is Selene going to actually die, or is she going to somehow stay alive and everything? If she's still gonna stay alive, I feel like maybe Selene. Again, I don't know how I feel about Selene. Selene, to me, still has these evil intentions, but like I said, she wants to live amongst the humans and kind of just live out on her own and not really mess with anybody because she's like at this point where it's the end of the dragon era. So I don't care. It's like she'd more than likely be Diabolos's freaking guild master. So yeah, but we'll see. I personally think after seeing this, her wounds are probably gonna be so badly damaged that she probably will end up dying. Which, for my Selene fans, it sucks. But hey, the story is, which I would be actually pretty surprised that if they go through this and they kill Selene off, because Mashima does not like to kill his characters off. Like, I don't know how, if he does that in Eden Zero, do not tell me, because I only watch the anime. I don't read the manga. And stuff like that. I'm still waiting on season 2 whenever that comes. Um, but I'll definitely say, he's not, especially when it comes to Fairy Tail, he doesn't really kill his characters off. He always typically finds a way to write it to where they're still alive. Like, I think the only character he truly killed off were Acnologia and Zareth and Mavis. But other than that, it's like he doesn't kill his characters off. Like, if you watch my freaking Alvarez Empire Arc Part 2 review, I vehemently disagree with the fact that he kept Makarov alive. I think that was the one time Makarov should have got killed, but whatever. But like I said, Mashima is not known for killing his characters off. It's like, honestly, an injustice to him. He always finds a way to write it out where they stay alive. So it wouldn't shock me if Selene is not dead, and she somehow still finds a way to come out alive in this. But it would shock me if she does end up dying, because that's not a Mashima trait that he kills a character off. But if he does, hey, it will suck because I love Selene as a character, but I'll be like, props. You demonstrated and you show that, okay, this guy, Ingina, is not a person to mess around. Now, if she ends up staying alive, I won't be shocked. You might get like Black Clover type of reactions. And what I mean by that is, if this character is brought back to life, you're gonna have people pissed off regardless of the fact. I'm like, oh, Fairy Tail's fucking trash. They won't kill a character off, even though this character should have died, and stuff like that. Again, I will definitely agree with their point, but I won't take it to the far like, oh, Fairy Tail's fucking trash. And stuff like that. People are just like that when it comes to that, because it's like the whole, oh, there's always no stakes in these series anymore. These characters always find ways to freaking stay alive. But we'll see what happens next. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter of Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, as well as hitting that subscribe button if you want to get more Fairy Tail content or any other anime content or manga content I upload to the channel. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there, and hopefully you guys are having a great rest of your day or night checking out this video. Until then, guys, peace.